Alright, for those of you that are just showing up, this is a live developer Q&A. If you've been to one of these before, then you know how it goes. Just ask questions in the live chat and I'll be happy to answer them there. If it's your first time, same thing. Just ask questions in the live chat and I will answer them here. Thanks a lot. Alright. What's up? Good to see you. Looks like everybody's too busy partying on a Saturday night. Although I did have the link private for the first 10 minutes. I was like, this is strange. Why is nobody showing up to the party? Do I announce them? Yeah, on Discord and Facebook. And then, which is better, Flutter or React Native? I don't use either of those, so I'll just share an article that you can check out. And of course, there's many others as well, so don't just take that person's word for it. That's just one of the top results on Google. How do you say your username? Is it Karcher? 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 No problem, Laksham. Probably butchering your name too. Lakshaman? Kishore? Also, which is your first name? Is it Kishore or is it Lakshaman? So, for those of you that just popped in, if you haven't attended one of these before, just ask questions in the live chat and I'll answer them. Or, if I don't know the answer or I don't have a good answer, I'll just tell you or I'll share a link to a better resource. Ask me anything. I'm an open book. Also, how's the audio? I'm using a different microphone tonight because this other microphone, I think I'm going to send it back. It's a piece of crap. Might actually have to spend some real money. Oh, okay, hold on. I don't think I have enough spit in my mouth. Harshir. Too dried out. for Ghetto Asmir. Shit. Shoab Akhtar. Hi, how's it going? Good to see you. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right. I need a class on like pronunciations. Is it enough if we are a full stack web developer to participate in a hackathon? Absolutely. Hackathons generally are just for people to have fun, to get together and contribute and compete and just have a good time and learn some stuff. So I don't think, it doesn't matter if you're just starting out. Like, you should definitely go to hackathons. They're a good time. Might get some free pizza out of it. What I suggest, Leet Code. So let's go look at Leet Code. The reason I'm looking at it is because I've never used it before. So go ahead and do a little transition here. Okay. A new way to learn. What's their premium subscription? $35 down from $39. It's a deal. Or yearly for $160. Dude, Netflix is cheaper than that, right? I don't pay for Netflix. When was the last time anybody paid for a Netflix account? Other than that person who's everybody's using their password. Alright, let's explore problems. So let's just go to this first one. Difficulty, easy. Given an array of integers, return indices. It's in bold, so you know it's important. Of the two numbers, such that they add up to a specific target. You may assume that each input would have exactly one solution, and you may not use the same element twice. For example, given the numbers in an array 2, 7, 11, 15, the target is 9. So because nums 0 and nums 1 is equal to 2 and 7 is equal to 9, oh, that's silly. Okay, and then you can change the language, so JavaScript, and then they even started out for you var toSum is equal to function nums target. Anyway, you can work through this, and then they give you hints and similar questions, and apparently you have to unlock it, but you can see which companies asked this question. Alright, so let's hop back over to the live streameroo, and let me just put that back up. Alright, let's see this. So the question was, yes, just from looking at what they have right there, you could get better. Now, I don't know if you, I just clicked on that one toSum question and it was free. So I don't know how much of it you can do for free, or whether you have to pay for premium at all or what. But if they're trying to charge you and they're not giving stuff away for free, then check out Code Wars, which is very similar. And so I'll just share that. Anyway, either of those, it's really good. If you're doing that kind of stuff on a daily basis, it's really going to help you flex those coding muscles. And so it'll help you hone in on making sure that you pseudocode when you're trying to plan out the solution to a problem, and just stuff that is good to do on a regular basis when you code frequently, especially stuff for interviews. So is it a good idea, or is it good for getting better? Yeah. And you said no, it should be free. So yeah, you don't have to pay for the premium. That's great. Looks like a good website. I would use it. Please say hello to me. Hello. I can't pronounce your name, sorry. I said somebody's name out loud the other day, and it was inappropriate. They changed their screen name, so I would say something inappropriate out loud on the live stream. I'm sure that's probably fairly common. So, what's up, Unbox Warehouse? Alright, so how to expert in JS. Code a lot, use it nonstop. Yeah, challenge yourself with really difficult projects. I mean, start. Don't go like from 0 to 60. Like, do projects that grow, over time, and yeah, just break it down into smaller blocks so it's manageable and you don't get burned out. But just add on to it, and as you add on to it, you'll run into problems, and as you solve those problems, you'll get better and better. And things like hackathons are great. Things like this Lead Code website or Code Wars, those are both great. So basically, the more you code, the better you're going to get at it. So you can't just become an expert overnight. I know people like Andre Nyogi sell that type of mentality on Udemy. Like, don't go from knowing nothing to being a junior developer. Go from knowing nothing to being a senior level, like, expert. And it's just not a reality. Like, you're going to have to code and code and code and run into stuff and learn stuff and break stuff and learn from your mistakes. And that's going to take a while. So the equation is probably like time plus persistence, discipline, and, nonstop learning is equal to expert. Alright, what if you don't know how to start a problem? How would you tackle that? If you find that a problem is just way out of your league, then you might want to scale back to an easier problem. And after a while of doing easier problems, then you'll start noticing patterns and stuff, and that'll help you scale up to the next level. And then don't forget stuff like, I always talk about the rubber duck debugging technique, and I don't have my rubber duck with me, but just use an inanimate object to explain your problem out loud too, and that process will help you solve that stuff. And then of course pseudocoding is great. Just write out the steps in like human readable kind of comments, and you can use terminology like each or for or loop or things like that, but ultimately you just want to break it down into simple steps and then just start with that first step. So you just have to ask yourself questions, like, read what the question is asking, and then ask yourself questions to help you better understand what the question is asking. And again, if it's too difficult and you've spun your wheels for 20 minutes and you still can't figure it out, maybe try Googling. But if you can't get the help to like get things kickstarted that way, then maybe go to an easier question. Alright, so 6 plain projects better on a portfolio versus 3 polished ones. I would say the 3 polished, just in my opinion, would be better than 6 plain. So, if you have 6 plain projects, then just start one at a time, touching them up, and really focus on one until it's completely done, and then go to the next and go to the next. So maybe have 4 or 5 plain ones and 1 polished or 2 polished, and then over time just stick with it, and eventually you'll have all of your projects will be polished, right? I'm looking at the microphone like it's a person. The camera's up here. I'm losing my mind. Alright, which is better, SVG, Canvas, or pure CSS? What is the shortcut to open the JS file in Gorm IDE like Colt used C9 app.js? I think it's just Gorm app.js, so just GOORM app.js. And then the SVG Canvas CSS question, what are you trying to do? Because those all 3 of those can be used together or for very different things. So there's not really like a. Also, try to get out of the mindset of like which is better, because that's not the question you should be asking. Like, you should expand on that and say which tool is the best tool for the job that I'm doing, because it's not like SVG is coming in first place and CSS is in second place and Canvas is third place, or you could say the same. You just put technology A, B, and C. Angular, Vue, React, like. The real question is, what are you doing? What's your project? What do you need to accomplish? And then you can figure out which one is the right tool for the job. But don't like get biased, because like, one thing I hate is when a beginner sees or hears someone that's been around for a little while say something biased. Like, for instance, I think it was, let me just check and make sure. Where's my mouse? Just give me a second. I'm going to fact check myself so I'm not saying anything stupid. Okay, so Tech Lead has a video called Why React Native is Garbage. And so hearing someone like that who's a millionaire and worked at Facebook and worked at Google and whatever the hell that guy's doing with his life, it can be detrimental to the beginner, because now all of a sudden you may have a negative outlook on React Native just because some guy has an opinion about it. Like, don't take it, just going back to the which one is better. Stop asking the question of which one is better. Start asking which one is the right tool for the job that you're doing, because these technologies are all great. They're all made by smart people. They're all good technologies. Not all of them, obviously, but most of these technologies, if you've heard about it, it's probably good. It's probably something that people are using. And so it's not so much like which one is better, it's which one is right for what I'm trying to accomplish. And then just take stuff that people like Patrick Shue, Tech Lead, whatever the hell his name is, take that with a grain of salt. Okay, next question. Debugging. I usually get lost when my JS code results error. Do you suggest any platform or website for debugging JS codes? So, debugging is tricky. Like that's definitely a level up in your coding game. Like, some people just use console log, right? They just log everything. If they have an error, they just go back and they log everything. I do that from time to time, but instead of littering my code with console logs and then having to go clean it up later, I try to use, like, on the front end, debugger, where you literally just type the word debugger and then it freezes your code whenever it executes that line. That's a nice one. And when I say freeze it, I mean it freezes it in the developer tools, so like Chrome console or Firefox developer tools, etc. So debugger is great. Look that up for front-end JavaScript. And then, of course, console log. And then you can use console log on the back end with Node.js. But I like to use Locus, Locus. And I also like to use... there's another one that's basically just like Locus. It's called Pry.js. And so Pry is a tool that was for Ruby, but then they just made something very similar for JavaScript. They just call it Pry, Pry.js. So look those tools up. And then there are debuggers like in these different IDEs. Like, I think VS Code probably has its own debugger. Like Gorm probably has its own debugger. You could probably set one up with Sublime. I've never used any of those, but I'm sure they're pretty powerful. So just doing a little Googling and looking around for, different debugging solutions, you might find some other ones in addition to some of the tools that I just mentioned. So just to recap, debugger, the keyword to use on the front end, Locus or Pry.js on the back end, and then console log on the front or the back. So you tried Groom, but it didn't work. It might be because you're spelling it wrong. It's Goorm, not Groom. Okay, do you think it matters for the portfolio website to be built by the developer versus a template to host your actual projects? My portfolio used a pre-made template. You're a developer, right? Unless you're trying to be a designer too, or web designer or what have you. So you don't necessarily have to design your website unless you're going for a front-end position. They want you to like use CSS heavily, etc. So if you find a really kick-ass looking template or theme and you want to use that, I say go for it. Save yourself some time, and you can focus on building these projects and polishing them and making them look good. So you completed the web developer bootcamp, but you're not able to do any new things. Tell me what to do now. Well, what are you trying to do? Are you saying like you're despite having finished the course, you're unable to think of projects to do? Or what? Because coming up with projects, if you can't come up with some on your own, which I think if you tried, you probably could, then there's plenty of people out there who are like offering up, like, just look like, oh, what's that guy's name? Code something or other. Coding Phase, I think his name is, on YouTube. He's got like the 6 projects that'll guarantee you a job, or some clickbaity title like that. But odds are at least one of those projects is probably pretty decent. So if you want some ideas, they're out there on YouTube or Google or what have you. Nothing against Coding Phase, by the way. I just think it's kind of silly to say, like, the projects that'll guarantee you a job. It's like, calm down. You can't guarantee people jobs. So yeah, and if you're looking for something new to learn, like what's next course, I'm gonna recommend my Code with Node course, and I'll just type that down here so that you know how it's spelled. But it's Code with Node, Learn by Doing. It's on devsprout.io. It's also on Udemy. Check it out. Okay. Michael, how are you doing? Good to see you. South Africa has a brighter future thanks to you. Lekker, my brew. Lekker. That's what I have to say about that. So I said stop asking which tools are best. So instead, for some beginners like you in general, which tool is typically suitable for which project, so that we have a bigger picture of these. Okay, so for instance, someone might say, especially if you're first starting out, like, which is better, Ruby, Python, or Node.js? Maybe even throw PHP in there. And then you go Google it, right? Like, which language should I learn first? And a bunch of people on Reddit or wherever are like, make sure you learn Python, or make sure you forget PHP, or make sure you learn Ruby or whatever. The reality is just pick one and start and stick with it until you've learned it and build some stuff with it. So when it comes to like which language should I learn first, the answer is just pick one. Pick one that's popular. Go to Stack Overflow and look up, the most popular languages of 2019, and you'll see, JavaScript is way up there and Python and whatnot. Just pick one and learn it and use it. Don't worry so much about what everybody's saying. Then, like, if you're trying to learn a front-end framework and you're like, which front-end framework is better? Like, just pick one. It doesn't matter. Like, I mean, the only reason I would have you hone in on one is if in your area you're trying to get a job and the jobs are all Angular jobs. Then I think the obvious answer is to learn Angular, right? Why would you learn React if you're trying to get a job in an area that only uses Angular on the front end? So if you're in an area with like a diversity of jobs that use all the different frameworks, then just pick one out of a hat. Like, you'll be fine either way. And then, like, the whole comparison thing, like, which is better, Sublime Text or Visual Studio Code? Just pick one and use it. And like, the one that you use the most is probably the one you'll be the most comfortable with. It's the one that will be the best for you. And then eventually you'll hit limitations and you'll realize, oh, I do prefer Visual Studio Code because I like the IDE setup compared to Sublime, which is more of just a text editor, unless you really customize it, add a bunch of plugins and stuff. But out of the gate, you get Visual Studio Code and you get this nice like IDE setup. Integrated developer environment is what IDE is, for those of you that don't know. And so it's a kind of, what am I trying to do? And then instead of trying to figure out which one is the absolute best, like, skip that step. Just grab one and start learning. And if you run into limitations eventually, which you will with anything, then you'll have enough experience in that area to be able to say, all right, at this point, I've been around long enough. I know how to use whatever this technology is, and I kind of know, like, this one might actually be better for what I want to do. Like, you can learn JavaScript and you can use it for automation, but you might find that Python has some libraries and some tools for automation that are a little bit better for what you're trying to do for whatever task you're trying to automate. So then you decide, okay, well, now I need to learn Python. And that's just kind of how it goes. It's a learning thing. But I think the most important takeaway is don't get turned off by a technology just because someone says that it's not as good or it sucks or whatever. Someone's like, vehemently just like, don't learn Ruby because, it doesn't scale or something like that. Like, try not to listen to people like that, because Ruby can be a great gateway for a lot of developers, and there's entire companies that are running on Ruby software, software that's built with Ruby. So hopefully that's been helpful. It's not Pro.js. That might have been a typo if you're still here. It's Pry.js. Pry. So is Code Node using the Yelp Camp project from Colt's core? So I'm wondering if there are extra features that you have in the course that'll help my Yelp Camp or just clarifies Node a little bit better. It's like building Yelp Camp from scratch, but instead of campgrounds, we're like it's like a surf shop where we show surfboards or whatever. So it has a lot of similarities, but in my opinion, it's kind of like Yelp Camp on steroids. So you can definitely combine a lot of what you've learned from Yelp Camp with what you'll learn in Code Node, and anything that's kind of older syntax or older technology or whatever from Yelp Camp, you'll be able to upgrade it with the stuff from Surfshop Code Node. Surfshop is the name of the project, by the way, in Code Node. Hawktar, no problem. Billy, no problem. Just want to take a quick second here to drop my little donations link if anybody's interested in supporting me in that way. And then, of course, if you're not, that's fine too. Check out my other project, topratedtechcourses.com. If you're looking for something new to learn and you want to support me just simply by buying a course from Udemy. So you get something and then I get a little cut from Udemy. So it's more hip because of surfing. Yes, exactly. How did I get into coding first? Story time with Ian. And this will probably be it because it's 9:30 and I kind of want to, I'm pretty tired, but I want to play some video games before I go to bed. So how did I get into coding? Once upon a time, many years ago. So I can go way back. Basically, I started using computers when I was a little kid. My dad was an IT guy. He had his own business where he fixed computers, and he taught me, how to build computers, PCs, Windows, stuff like that. And so I started playing video games, and then real quick, can I interview Zarko? Yeah, if he wants to get on here, I would love to interview him. Zarko's a great guy, and he's got a great story learning to code and getting work with Colt and I, and also he just got a new gig that he's working on. So I'll have to ask him if he wants to get on here. All right, so back to story time. So fast forward, I got into computers basically. So I was moderately tech savvy, and then my first website was because it kind of started out as graphics because I liked these video games and I wanted to make my own website. So I designed it first, and so I got into graphics with Photoshop 7, and I used Photoshop, and I started learning how to make graphics, and then I figured out that you could make a website, design it, and then cut it up, slice it up, and then they would turn it into images, and they would code the images for you. The Photoshop would. You just run a couple commands, and so that's how I started making my first websites. They're basically just images, and then you just make the buttons into hyperlinks. So it's super basic. And I really focused on the graphic side of things. So I made a website for my family, and I made websites for my gaming clans or gaming teams, whatever you want to call them. And then I made that stuff for school, just projects. And so all this was mostly design with a little bit of knowledge of HTML. And then I got a program called Microsoft Front Page, and that kind of like stepped up my game a little bit because like it's more visual. Think like WordPress almost, just kind of drag and drop. But anyway, this is all when I was like a little kid. I was like 13 or something. And then when I was trying to get correct on my timing here, I think I was like 22. I got a marketing job for a manufacturing company for heavy machinery, and I was doing video stuff because that's what I went to college for. I went to college for graphics. Dropped that and started doing film stuff. Graduated, and they got this job making video marketing material and whatnot. And then I saw the website for the company. I was like, yo, this website sucks. And so they're like, do you know how to make websites? I said, yes. So I made a website for them. And I used a pre-made theme, but I knew how to like hack it together. And then when I quit that job, I started making websites with WordPress. And so at that point, I like still, just like a little HTML, a little CSS. And so that was back in like 2013. And then I moved to California, and at that point I had several clients just making WordPress websites for, just freelance. And so I knew a little bit of HTML, a little bit of CSS, and just like I had read some PHP books and JavaScript and stuff. And then I just didn't really grasp it. I'd even tried Ruby too, and I tried it all by myself, and like I understood some of it. Like I kind of like, oh, that's a variable and this is that, but I was having trouble mostly with one. I had kind of got like, I went directly into like the framework side of things, and like so I understood like Boolean logic to a degree, but I went straight into like the making websites as opposed to like learning how to program, just code anything, right? And little did I know that, because I didn't really realize like once you learn how to make websites, like you're also a programmer, so you can make other stuff. And so once I learned how to make websites, I was like, oh, I also can like write automation scripts and like all these different things. Well, anyway, that was all around 2013, 2014. 2014, I went to a part-time boot camp. That's where I met Colt Steele. I originally had an instructor who he was a really good developer, but not necessarily a real great teacher. And so I think some of the students kind of voted him out, and because we were paying for it and we wanted to get the most bang for our buck. And so they brought in this guy Colt, and that's where I met Colt. And he taught me Ruby on Rails, HTML, CSS. I don't think I really picked up any JavaScript back then. I might have. And then right after that, I joined the full-time course. There was like a full stack, full-time, 12 weeks, hardcore boot camp. And that was Colt taught there briefly, and then he moved to a different company, which I ended up working for that company later also. But anyway, yeah, that's where I learned how to code. That was in 2014 and then 2015. So it was like the end of 2014 and then early 2015. And then I segued, like while I was looking for a job, I was a TA, and I was kind of like, oh, like even before I graduated, I like got all my stuff done before everybody else, and so I just had time to like help the other students in my class. And I realized like, oh, I kind of like helping people code. Like I get this stuff, and I can help other people who don't understand it right away or struggling with different parts of learning how to code. And that's where the TA thing kicked off. And then one of the teachers like just came around one day, and I hadn't seen him in a while. I was like, dude, I thought you went to Brazil or whatever. And he's like, no, I was going to South Africa. And I was like, oh, cool. Well, I thought you were going to South Africa. And he's like, no, I haven't gone yet. And he's like, hey, do you want to come with me? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, all right, cool. So he put in the word to the guy that was running that company over there, and it's just another boot camp type thing. And so I interviewed for that position. I got that position, and the rest is history. Went, taught in South Africa for 3 months. That segued into another gig that I did for like 5.5 months back in San Francisco with Colt. And it's like every time I got to a company that Colt was at, he went somewhere else. So he went and worked at another company. And yeah, so I was in Cape Town, Yashin, and yeah, South Africa's sick. In fact, fingers crossed, the company in South Africa might hire me again. So that's pretty cool. I'm actually in the midst of 2 interviews right now. One with Verizon Wireless. They've got some type of developer thing they want me to come on board for. And then another with the South African company called iExperience. And they're not just in South Africa now. Now they're in like Portugal and I think Turkey and maybe Germany, something like that. Alright, so yeah. Then the rest is history. I came back to Texas and started my family here with my fiance, now my wife, and now we have several kids. And Colt hit me back up, got me on board with the Udemy stuff, and I did some work in Dallas for a while for some boot camps, and now I'm doing this thing. Now I'm trying to be a YouTuber. An asthma YouTuber. Let's catch up on these. So the Web Dev Bootcamp with you and Colt, kind of directing the students to get their job on a company. Do you have any advice for someone to join the course to start their own IT developer business? So it depends on advice for someone trying to start their own IT developer business. So as IT, you're going to probably want to get certifications. At least one certification. I forget what they call it, but there's like, let me just try to look it up for you. You probably already know what it's called. Alright, I'm not seeing it offhand, but if you know it, shout it out down there. But anyway, it helps to have the certification. Otherwise, I mean, you don't have to have it. I know plenty of people that don't have it. I never had it, and I made back when I was doing IT work, and again, it was for my dad's company, but he had just his own little one-man gig. We just did local stuff where I just go to people's houses and repair their computers. So that kind of work, kind of residential, pays real good. And then the commercial work, I know the guy that used to come around when I worked for the heavy machinery company, he made like $150 an hour just to like walk around and like shake people's hands and be like, oh, is your network driver updated on your computer? Let's see, cock-a-doodle-doo. Anyway, so if you want to be a freelancer, you want to start your own business, I don't know like where you are in the world, so it'd be helpful to know that, but just kind of a blanket solution, I would say, yeah, I wrote some notes on how you could do this, so let me pop it. I'm gonna drop this on you guys a little bit early. You going to bed? You going to bed?
Are you still alive?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you naked?
Yeah. There's a really large lag.
Yeah, there is. Love you.
Love you too.
Alright.
Corbert's still out.
I'll be right back.
Corbert's still out.
Alright. Had to tell the wife good night. Okay, so for those of you that are still here, this is for an upcoming video I was going to make, but it's basically just like helpful tips for starting your own company. So since Billy asked this, I'll go ahead and yeah, I'll let her know you said that. All right, so first of all, find something that you love and are knowledgeable of and skilled in doing. So if you are knowledgeable and skilled in IT and developer stuff and you love doing it, then great, because IT and developer stuff makes good money and it'll be a good way to provide for yourself and your family, etc. Alright, so research that niche and check up on the competition. So look around,
in your area and see if you're trying to do local work, just see what the competition's like. See what kind of keywords they're using on Google, see if they're putting ads on Facebook or YouTube or anything like that. Probably not, probably just on Google if it's local stuff. See how their websites look, see like who they're advertising to, etc. All right, so then you have to ask yourself, is what you're trying to do too saturated? So is there room for improvement? Can you do it better than these other people are doing it, right? And is what you're offering better than what they're offering, or can you make it unique in some way? So these are just some good questions to ask. Then create a plan for building content. So whether that's a blog for blog posts, videos, whether it's on YouTube or on your blog, figure out a plan for creating stuff that's not going to be too difficult for you to create, because at this point, if you're going to have to figure out how to make videos. If you can't make videos, that's fine. You're going to have to figure out how to write. And, some people that's easy, other people it's difficult. So you might have to take time to figure out copywriting. You might have to take time to figure out video editing, right? Because in one form or another, you want to be able to make content, okay? So learn the skills necessary for accomplishing the previous step, and then find a platform or create your own. So YouTube for videos, or a blog that you create yourself. You could just there's a million different ways to make a blog. You could just do the simple route, go to medium.com. Personally, I would say make your own website. You can see Zarko made his own. It's zarkom.net /blogs, I think. And if you're a developer, that should be easy for you. Okay, so now you want to start building an audience. This is key. And you can do that by creating valuable content and giving it away for free. And so you want to create content, like if you're, let's say IT, for example. So you want to create some content that helps people solve commonly asked IT problems. So if you're a Windows IT guy, help people figure out how to update their drivers, or install their drivers, or install Windows, or to solve common problems that you would normally be solving, right? And so that's going to be helpful, because you're going to start building an audience that way. The next thing is make sure that you're retaining your audience by getting their emails. So create a newsletter and sign up for an email marketing service like MailChimp or Mailgun or SendGrid or Drip, etc., etc. Just compare them, figure out which one works best for your situation and which one's the most affordable. You can start out with something like MailChimp for free. Most of them have a free tier, but some of them have limitations. So the key is get people's emails. Now, you can make blog posts or post videos and ask for people's emails, but the fastest way to get people's emails, of course, is to offer them something for free. So make a mini course, something really simple, or a PDF with 10 steps to what something valuable, something simple, something useful that people in your target audience would need, and then offer that for free if they give you their email. So they sign up for this free thing, you get their email, and then you use your email marketing software to send them that free thing. Now they have something free that's valuable, you have their email. And so what you can do with that email from this point forward is send useful newsletters. Hey, I just wrote a new blog post, check it out. Or maybe put the blog post into the email, however you want to do it. And then you can market to your audience that way. So the strategy you want to use is up to you. There's a guy, Josh Earl, Josh is his first name, Earl. You can subscribe to his newsletter. You don't have to buy his stuff or pay for any of his courses, but his newsletter alone, his free newsletter, will give you tons of copywriting advice for email marketing. And so you want to market to your audience actively and give them valuable content, and then somewhere in there you're going to want to start advertising your sale, your product, or your service. So if you're an IT person or if you're doing web development, here's some valuable information about this industry, this niche, whatever. Oh, by the way, if you need help with your website or you need help with your computer, etc., I can help you with that. Click here to contact me, or click here to schedule an appointment. If you're doing appointment scheduling, then sell their email for 5 cents. Don't do that. I was reading a comment, by the way. If you're trying to do an appointment booking app, you can build it yourself, obviously, but that's actually pretty complex. Or you can use something like SquareUp, SQUAREUP.com. They have free booking. It's really simple to set up. Okay. So you have this product, which, by the way, you have to create that product, or you have to have a service. Having a service is easier than having a product, but having a product is nice because you don't have to put in the man hours, right? You're already putting in a lot of time marketing to your audience and writing this content and building these things and learning the things that you don't know, filling in those gaps in your knowledge. And so that doesn't leave a lot of time left over to do whatever that service is. So it's easier if you have a product that you can sell. So whether it's a course with good, valuable content, not a rip-off course, or whatever it may be. It might be a physical product. I don't know. It just depends on what niche you're in. Then, once you've built your audience, you're starting to make a little bit of money, get some testimonials from these people and use those in your sales funnels. So a sales funnel is a page, and this is the point where you're getting into advertising. So now you need to either be paying someone who knows advertising, or you need to be learning Facebook advertising, YouTube advertising, Google ads, etc. And so you need to go take some courses. There's good free ones out there. You don't necessarily have to pay somebody for their fancy course that's going to promise to show you how to get rich or anything like that. Just go find a good quality course and learn it. Learn advertising. You know, you don't have to be a rock star at it. You'll learn over time. And then push people to a funnel page. And so the funnel page is going to be selling your product, or one thing that's valuable is if you collect the person's email, again, with the whole give them something for free. So offer them the free PDF with 10 tips for, you know, something related to whatever your niche is, your company. And once you get those emails, then continue to market to these people, because you can sell multiple products or multiple services to these people, as opposed to just selling the one product if you advertise to get them to go to the page for that one product. So it's better to have a funnel that gives away something for free. And yeah, if you want to put the paid stuff in there too, that's fine. Figure out a way to do that. But the important thing here is getting people's emails. Email marketing is king. Once you build up an audience, you can take it with you wherever you go, whichever platform you switch to. Keep marketing to those people. And, you know, don't be afraid to get unsubscribed from if you're spamming people. I'm not saying you should spam people. What I'm saying is some people, like one person, might love your content so much they don't mind seeing your email once a week or even once a day or whatever your frequency is, whereas someone else, you know, doesn't want to see emails from you ever. Well, why did they sign up for your subscription anyway? So go ahead and either unsubscribe them if they complain, or just let them unsubscribe themselves. But don't worry about that. The point is, you're getting people's emails, you're offering valuable content, you're marketing your service or your product to them, and over time this is going to grow. So it's not going to be an overnight rich thing. This is not what this is about at all. It's a steady way where if you work at it and you learn and you chip at it and you keep learning and you keep working and you keep building your audience and you keep offering a product and you keep making your product or your service better based on feedback from your audience, then eventually you're going to have a business that makes money and is profitable. So that's it. That is one last little tip. You can offer a guarantee on certain things. If you have like a course, like a 30-day or 90-day guarantee, you can let the quality of your product speak for itself. So make sure you have a quality service, quality product, and then address any issues. If people are leaving bad reviews, make sure you reach out to those people and try to make it right. And then consider having multiple mailing lists. So if someone doesn't like getting emails from you daily or weekly, whatever your frequency is, then shift them over. If they email you and say, hey, you're spamming me, say, hey, you know what? Sorry, I have another email list that you could join that is less frequent. You could get it once a month or once every 2 weeks, something like that. Okay, so those are my tips. Let me just run through these last comments, and then I gotta get out of here. All right, so nice. I did marketing, film production too. Yeah, sweet. That's what I did for college. 50-year-old, used to be software developer back in 99, 2000. Want to go back to the coding job. Do I have a chance even if I'm now older? If so, what job is easiest to get into in my situation? Yeah, don't let the age thing hold you back. There's plenty of people older than you that are coding. What job is the easiest to get into? I don't know. It depends on if you want to work local or remote. You're just gonna have to start. You're gonna have to brush up on your coding, and then you're gonna have to start interviewing and just kind of get an idea for. Obviously, it's not just about settling for the first place that'll let you work for them. You also want to work somewhere that you're gonna enjoy working for, right? Don't get back into coding just because you know that coding will make you decent money. Like, get back into coding because you're like, I like coding and I miss coding. Because that's what's going to make it sustainable for you. And so, what job is easiest? Whatever one that you're the most comfortable doing, for the rest of the time that you're going to be working. So I don't know when you plan on retiring, but let's just say for the next 15, 20 years. So if that's front-end development or back-end or, testing, or maybe you just want to do DevOps or database management, you decide, but you got a lot of options. Just finished Web Dev Bootcamp by Colt and Udemy. What should I do next? You should check out my Code with Node course. It's free on Udemy. It's called Code with Node Learn by Doing. Free on Udemy, free on devsprout.io. And it's a nice follow-up course to Colt's. Graphics to film to super legend web designer. Thanks. Any resources for Internet of Things? Nope. I don't know anything about IoT. Michael 48. Yep. Bye. Yep. Selling email. Yep. Loading price on all Udemy course on Udemy. Right up for 2 days. Interesting. I don't use their app. I guess I could look at it now, Michael, and just see what it's saying. Udemy, so I don't know, for those of you that are here, if you got tagged earlier on Discord, if you're over there, or look on my community wall right now, it's the most recent one. Udemy has this bug that they've had for, I would say, over a month now, possibly 2 months, where the links, if you click on a link in our curriculum that goes to a Q&A thread, it goes, you initially see it in the URL bar, and then Udemy redirects you to a different page, and then it doesn't load the thread. It loads a different page. It's so annoying. And I told him about it, and I was really heated. I told him about it. I was pretty upset, and I told him about it again, and then I think several students have probably mentioned it, I'm sure, because it's not just our courses that are doing it. It's across the board. Anyway, I say all that to say Udemy, this huge, multi-million-dollar company, and they can't fix, their developers can't fix stuff. I made a Chrome extension today that fixes that problem. If you load a page that's a question, and of course it's going to redirect and it's going to break. So what I do is I store that URL. Once it redirects and it breaks, then I redirect you again to the correct page, and then it loads properly, and it all happens in an instant. That's a quick fix. It took me a couple hours to figure out how to hack it and fix it. Why can't their developers just fix it? And they have the money, so I don't know what their deal is. I don't know what kind of people they got on their developer team over there, but it needs some work. And this person's saying, Michael's saying that the Android app is messed up. Just fix it. Udemy can show you $199 sometimes. Always pay $11.99 or less. Yeah. Just wait for the sales. The sales happen once every other week. Billy, no problem. Take care. Yep. All right, cool. Well, that's the end of live stream questions. So thank you everyone that showed up. And of course I have to plug my PayPal. If anybody is interested in buying me a coffee, I would love that. No pressure. But thanks everyone for showing up and asking questions, and we'll catch you all in the next live session or the next video. Peace. Oh, cool, Michael. Glad that you're able to enroll in that. Good luck. And we'll catch you guys later. Yep, no problem. Thank you for asking. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out and for asking questions. Couldn't do it without you guys and girls. Later.